What is Vets4Energy?
Well, Vets4Energy is a collective group of veterans from across the nation that have an interest in energy security, national security, and also in the most important part for many of the veterans is the job piece of this. You know, just how many jobs would be generated if we had a more energy independent way of life in the United States. Vets4Energy, I consider us to be the voice for the veterans to the energy industry.
Why do veterans care about Vets4Energy? Why should they?
Well, they should care because the majority of the conflicts that we've had in the last decade have really revolved around some of the more oil-rich nations in the world. If you look at the Middle East and you look at the turmoil, and you know, a lot of folks will say, well, they've been fighting over there for centuries. That's true. But they didn't have the money and the resources to reach out and touch us for centuries like they did in 9/11. To be able to do something, an operation like that, required a significant financial backing. A financial backing that, I fear to say, probably came from the world's dependence on foreign oil. So it really plays into the whole scheme of things as far as, you know, why veterans get involved. You know, we'll go into the job piece of this as well, but why veterans should get involved is because if we become more energy independent, if we become a country that becomes a world leader in producing energy, and we're not just talking gas and oil here. We're talking gas, oil, coal, renewables, hydro, nuclear. But how do we become more energy independent so that the dependence on these countries, many of them which do not like us and actively work against our way of life, we make them insignificant in the scheme of things. And we don't have to worry as much about what happens if the Persian Gulf closes down. Once that happens and we become that sort of nation, that we'll get to the point where other countries will also be dependent on us. And the wealth factor in this country can increase significantly. And we're not talking about just $10 an hour jobs here. We're talking about careers in the energy industry that are going to pay $60, $70, $80, and $100,000 a year salaries. We want a strong nation. We want a strong defense. But we also want a strong economy, one that can support itself and not be dependent on foreign fuel sources, or at least foreign fuel sources that are not friendly to us. Vets4Energy is a collection of veterans all across the nation that are working together to find a solution for our energy issues. I would call us soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Coast Guard members that have all left and took off the uniform, but we still sincerely have an interest in seeing that the needs of our national defense and our national security is met. And we see the importance being in our ability to be able to create our own fuel.